At a time when Bollywood is turning out hundreds of directors a year, very few people are going to leave their name in the footprints of time. And what makes such directors special? I wonder myself. And to fulfill my wonderment, I have come to meet Ketan Mehta. People remember him for his movies, people remember him. And Ketan Mehta ji, tell the new directors, how does one do work that leaves its impact, which is remembered after decades and decades and decades.
Okay. One, I don't feel old as yet. So when you say new directors, I try to invent myself again and again. And so I feel new every time. Decades, yes. I have been here in the industry for a lifetime now. And it has been a great journey. Cinema has changed so dramatically over the last 30, 40 years. From the age of mechanical reproduction with those 35mm bulky cameras and big perforated films to video tapes to digital cameras now. It's a whole world of change. The world has changed, medium has changed. And yeah, so that is an exciting journey to have. The fact of life is that when I joined cinema, I went to the Film Institute in early 70s.
FTII.
Cinema was the most powerful medium ever invented by human beings.
And it still is in many respects.
And so, for me and for a whole generation of my contemporary filmmakers, cinema was not just a profession, it was an obsession. We were the most blessed people in the world who were playing with the most powerful medium ever invented after a long, long time. That kind of a power in terms of a communication and expression was possible for human beings. That was in an age of one television channel, no internet,
And single screens.
single screen theaters, huge black and white cameras, no internet, no satellite television, no social media. Today's generation can't even imagine that kind of a lifestyle. But cinema actually, in my opinion, transformed humanity like no other medium ever did.
I feel the same.
We also don't realize how important cinema has been in terms of building this nation, uniting this nation, making it into a modern nation. The kind of role that cinema and filmmakers have played in this is still not really documented or realized. And so I feel very proud of being a part of this legacy.
Part of a nation building.
It's a legacy of a journey which is a very fulfilling journey.
And talking about nation building, I feel that cinema is a very powerful and a very useful medium because people consume their narratives through politics, through news channels, and through cinema. And cinema is the most heartwarming one. Cinema is the medium that unifies people. It portrays characters in which everybody feels represented, and they feel that okay, we are part of one large whole humanity and we are all same, whether we may be of different religion, different caste. And so indeed I feel that is a very important conversation today, because if we tell stories which are consumed by masses, we will have a medium where in this kind of a very radicalized times extremism is brewing its head all the time, we'll have something to unify people again.
Well, medium of communication and expression is to reach out and touch the other people, and that this cinema is the best way of doing it. So
and Ketan ji, tell us about like your taste of films. You've made the most varied films. You've made movies with top stars. You've made movies which are like, art house. I mean, how do you navigate this? How do you struggle? How do you just change your tunes and your strategy overnight? What's been behind behind this prolific style of work?
Well, as I said, cinema is no longer not just a profession; it's a way of life for me. And fortunately or unfortunately, a feature film takes a chunk of your life, and a chunk of your life, an important part of your life, and takes all of it that time. Uh, how does one spend that chunk of a life on what project is important to me? Uh, so a project has to excite me, the story has to excite me, the way I'm telling it should excite me. It should be a journey of discovery, and it should be images and ideas which resonate after me. I mean, these are the considerations, that's it. Something has to excite me inside for me to spend an important part of my life into living with that idea.
And I remember attending the Mangal
I mean,
Pandey.
so the entire range
Yeah.
of films, whether it is, my first film was a Gujarati folklore
Yeah.
called Bhavni Bhavai. The second was an experiment called Holi, which was about college students. Then it was Mirch Masala, which is a story, a rural story. Then it was Maya Mimsab, which is a European classic being
Told in
transplanted into an
Hindi.
Indian middle class. Sardar, which was a historical saga on Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Then there are these crazy films like Arya Par and Oh Darling Yeah India, which were really in popular genre but still finding to
And they
communicate
took note,
new ideas.
and everybody would take notice. Okay, this film is coming out.
Well, in today's day and age, it is. I don't think that kind of a notice is possible because it's such a noisy environment that we are living in now.
It in a way it seems to have become competitive, but in a sense, like when we look at your legacy and your body of work and how people remember you, you are amongst those 10 directors, 20 directors who are remembered. I mean, even in your 40 years, for 50 years of cinema, when we document, there are a few names we remember. Okay, somebody else made that, somebody made this.
Yeah.
And so is there some recipe that has enabled you to create that kind of brand value that, okay, yeah, this is. I mean, I remember going to the Mangal Pandey, premiere, and it was such a spectacle. I mean, it had taken the nation by storm. People are talking about that film, and it's. I mean, you don't get noticed so easily. Is there a thought behind how you create these spectacles?
I think it's your passion which finally gets reflected. Whether you believe in it or not, how much you believe in it. And it's just sharing your passion. And if you're passionate about it, whether it works or it doesn't work, the passion communicates itself.
Ketan ji, what is how has been your foray into corporate, world? I mean, you are one of those early adopters of, intersection of entertainment and business side of business. So, how have been your ventures over the years? What has been your experience? What's the takeaway from doing that now and for long?
Only one, basically to be able to tell the stories that I want to tell. When I started making my films, it seemed almost impossible to take an idea and say, I want to make this idea with no superstars, no big finances or anything, and still make it happen. But Film Institute training, obsession with cinema, belief
Well,
in one's skills and abilities uh, drove me somewhere. So, I mean, as a matter of fact, for the first film, Bhavni Bhavai, uh, I got together a bunch of people in Ahmedabad, in ISRO, where I was working around.
ISRO is another
Yeah,
less talked about aspect of your
yeah.
life.
Uh, we started a film cooperative society,
Okay.
one of the first in India at that point of time, uh, to make a film. We got a loan of 3.5 lakhs of rupees from Film Finance Corporation at that point of time. Uh, and actually just jumped into creating a costume musical drama, which is a folklore period piece at that point of time. I mean, how will we finish it? Who will see it? These were not considerations at all. We wanted to make this film. I believed in this film and it had to be made. And whatever needs to be done, needs to be done.
And is that the lesson that every first time, second time maker should think about? That if you do too much planning about how you'll release it, who will see it, what will be the trailer, who will be the star, I think that is what makes people immobile in terms of in entrepreneurship also. Okay, the people don't think about making a beginning with some passion, and that's why their journey remains unstarted. I
Yeah,
mean,
just like cinema, even human life, if you see, is a blessing. One of the most precious blessings in the universe as we know it. Uh, how do you want to spend that time on earth? It's precious and that's important. And so, I mean, you're not going to carry what you have earned home beyond your life. So, the time is the currency of life. And how do you spend that time is important. So,
you have lived your life very richly, obviously.
turbulently as well.
Turbulently. Aren't all rich lives turbulent as well? Is
Uh,
that?
I I hope not necessarily. There are some more like people who are less turbulent and still as
I,
blessed.
in the when we look at venture capital, we think about UTV, we think about TVF, but one of the early success stories of filmmakers also straddling the world of corporate houses was Ketan Mehta ji. Ketan Mehta ji, we'll talk about today's ventures of yours. We know about MAAC, but I think we have many other things in your arsenal.
Well, somewhere in the mid 90s, what happened was that the entire language, technology of cinema was changing. Computer animation was coming in, digital technology was coming in. The mind was toying with ideas of science fiction. And I realized that computer animation and visual effects were going to completely change the language of cinema. And it had to be played with. Unfortunately, in India, the technology was just not available. It all started when I was doing a film called Maya Memsa. In the end of the film, there is one shot in the climax where Maya, this protagonist, drinks a magic potion and bursts into a flame of light and vanishes. It's easy to write this in a script on the thing. But at that time, the technology was just not available to do even that one simple shot. I shot that. I mean, we had to do the special effects in camera at that time. Did that shot 7 times, and I wasn't happy. Then I shot it and took it to Hong Kong to do that one special effect. I mean, it was better, but still not. I was still not happy. Finally, the shot that went into the film in the final release print, I was still not happy with it. And that was the starting point, saying
Something had to
we
be
claim to be the largest filmmaking country in the world. We claim to be filmmakers. And if this one shot I can't get, then what's the point of it? And that was the time when the technology was changing.
Animation
And
was coming
Intel had
in.
actually invented a chip by which you could do it on PCs. Uh, so I said, we have to have it. So Deepa and me actually decided, happen what may, we should start something on our own. So with 10 people, we started Maya, a digital studio, one of the first of its kind in India. Uh, we realized that there were people were just not aware of what computer animation could do. So, in order to let the masses know what are the potential of the medium, we actually invented India's first science fiction television show called Captain Vyom,
Vyom.
with a lot of computer animation and visual effects, and it was Space Odyssey, the first of its kind. And strangely, it just took off. It ran for a year on television on Doordarshan, and it almost acquired a cult following among children of the. So that was the beginning of Maya for us. While doing this, we realized that there were not enough people who were trained in this computer animation, and that was a problem. So, in order to fill that gap, we started Maya Academy of Advanced Cinematics, a computer training program, and started training the people in this new art form, in a sense. And that took off, and
It became
the
a big thing,
franchises all over the country. And today, if I go to any studio anywhere in the country, there's somebody or the other who has been trained by MAAC and who recognizes the fact that I've started MAAC, and so it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's a very interesting aspect. Like, it marries messaging with training. As you are telling your story, the message of India requiring this animation, requiring technology, that message has percolated through your business, and the business is also training people.
Yeah.
And
So now Maya, Cosmos Maya now is one of the largest animation studios in the country. It is doing programs all across television channels and doing international work as well. We trained almost more than 50,000 students at that point of time till we hived it off. And now there's a new phase in life where we are creating cultural theme parks, marrying culture with new media technology.
okay,
So, multimedia shows on culture.
I've obviously known about them, but I mean, tell us more about it. And also, I want to add that as a filmmaker, you're always in the forefront. People are always talking about you. When you are doing these things, you disappear from the news, but your work becomes more prolific, more lasting.
Uh, I have to grow myself, and continuous growth is the only way of life that I learned. So, you grow in cinema, but life is more than cinema itself. It's more than just one medium. And this allows me to play with technology even further.
Cultural theme parks.
Yeah.
Which are some of these projects?
We started first with there is Deepa and me with the first park at Kila Gobindgarh in Amritsar. We took over the fort of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, a 300-year-old fort, and started the first heritage cultural theme park there in Amritsar with new media shows like projecting on the wall, fort's walls, 7D show on Maharaja Ranjit Singh, fly simulation ride and things like that, along with live performances of folk forms and all that. So we believe that somewhere culture is important to humanity as such, to the nation as a whole, and we are so blessed to have such a wide variety of cultures in this country, and it's so rich in terms of their expression, and we shouldn't lose it out. I mean, there is a real danger of us losing our culture in a couple of generations, but that would be sad, a tragedy, So Such a rich culture has to throb, has to thrive, has to grow, has to infect other cultures. It has to be a wonderful.
And without leaning on religion, you have brought technology to culture. I mean, technology and culture intersection. Like it's a very unique thing. It's a very bold step. Mostly, let's say those who promote culture or supposed to. I mean, they're mostly tapping into the emotions of the people and playing around them. Promoting superstitious ideas. You've stayed completely out of that game. You've just done things very organically.
Yeah, I think culture is important to me and to us. Technology is important to me and us and the humanity as a whole. And the best thing is to marry it, you know, and enjoying the process. I mean, really, people coming, enjoying those shows, sharing it with them.
And do you think that like you make films and you also run institutions, and do you think that reduce, like even Karan Johar does the same? Okay, but what has happened is his direction work has taken a back seat. He won film in 5-7 years and all. Do you feel that in the process of building institutions, filmmaking sometimes takes a back seat? It suffers because you are building other things,
No,
or,
as
or
I
has
said,
it not been
it
like that?
does. It most certainly does. Uh, as I said, currency is time. How much time do you give to what? Uh, Determines what you do in life. So yes, I'm still fascinated with films. I don't make as many films as I used to.
But we need now a film from you, because after the
Yeah, I'm
12th,
sure I'm.
12 the success, after the success of 12 fail now, see, it's been proven that the stalwarts of our industry, they know something about Bollywood and masses and people, that the new folks with all their access is not able to deliver. And see, in your time or whatever, in your time is even now, but see, until 10 years ago, Bollywood's competition was Hollywood. Okay, yeah, we should be as good as Hollywood. Now, even South Indian films are taken over. So there's no excuse for lagging
First of
behind.
all, this Bollywood is such a bad word. It basically means that you are second-rate citizen to a Hollywood film industry. That you are basically a copy master, don't have an individuality, identity of its own. Number three, it divides Indian cinema into these language pockets. You know, not necessary. I mean, it's an Indian cinema which is rich.
Yeah,
It's
Satyajit Ray.
such a wide variety of cinema. If you start seeing it like that, you actually filled with awe. I mean, not just the largest number of films, but also the largest variety of films are being made in this country. It fills with me awe.
We don't see such a thing in any other country. Maybe a little bit.
No,
Yeah,
I mean we make more
I think
more
apart from-
films than all of Europe. Much greater variety of films.
Then
And
America
now,
also. Yeah.
And then now even technically as competent films. So things are changing, and they are changing very rapidly in this country. I'm very optimistic that this.
Do you see, as you roam around in Mumbai, do you see that there is culturally the filmmaking culture is lacking in something now? Is there some problem in the way they approach filmmaking? Is there a course correction required in some way?
You see, what has happened over the last 10, 15 years is the corporatization of an art form. That's what it has happened. Before that, there were individual filmmakers or institutions, whether it was Prabhat or whether it was KSF, or individual filmmakers taking responsibility of what they are
cinema,
doing
yeah.
and making films. In the late, at the turn of the century, in the 2008 to 2009 somewhere, the industry started changing its character. Multinational studios came in a big way, and literally in the last 10 years, 15 years, the entire industry has been taken over by these multinational studios. and build big corporate studios. There was this individual filmmaker, the independent filmmaker. That idea has itself evaporated.
Like the environment for innovation has taken a back seat because there are corporate houses who have
Who dictate?
set rules.
That's right. Who dictate what kind of films have to be made, what kind of films cannot be made. I mean, at that point of time when we were making a film, we just jumped into it even before knowing the consequences. You know. Now
Everybody wants a plan
That's right.
or a PPTs of everything.
Yeah. So
That I think that will have a very difficult solution. I mean, there isn't
I think the regional films they're still
have
managing
taken
to do
over.
it,
Yeah, I mean,
know?
where Mumbai has lagged behind, South Indian films, films from Punjab, Bengal, they are
Yeah.
sort of making their presence
Yeah.
felt.
Malayalam films,
Malayalam
Marathi films.
Marathi films.
So
Court,
it's a rich
all-
variety.
yeah.
I mean, it's just that the Hindi cinema has
That is
certainly
what-
suffered the most.
of the grip of corporatization,
That's right.
so to
Yeah,
say.
Yeah.
So that's one tip for corporate houses, that if they want to tap into, if they want to have an IP that makes them manifold richer and all, they should somehow make sure that the independence of the filmmaker is nourished or nurtured.
They are not in the business of nurturing talent. They are in the business of making money.
And-
So that is the change.
And they are conservative folks. I mean, when you have made all of these films, I mean, they are all like as you have discussed, Asif, as you have talked about your cinema. It's like the filmmaker has been the maker. He's been the leader in the pack. I mean, is that one of the reasons, first of all, that yes, filmmakers are being remembered. Certain filmmakers are being remembered because they led their pack. In that, I wanted to let's say have a couple of tips for maybe independent makers. There are people who want to exercise the benefit of technology, ease of camera, ease of sound, ease of light, and make films. And some of them may aim very high, right? So, are there any recipe? Is there a few things that you would tell an independent filmmaker who's ambitious with the medium?
First, don't make it unless you're passionate about it. It's an act of passion. Filmmaking is like a crime of passion. You have to be in love with the subject. You have to spend intense time into creating it, and you have to get fulfilled with it. That is what filmmaking is about for us. Secondly, stop seeing cinema as content for consumption. It is your soul expressing itself, your individuality expressing itself. Through the collective effort of the entire team, yes, but it's a medium of expression first of all. Communication happens as a result of this expression. And it's a unique experience that you are creating. You are not creating pav bhaji for consumption. So I mean that's the qualitative difference in terms of what do you want to do. How do you want to spend your time?
So I think some key takeaways that yes, first of all, filmmaking is the crime of passion, and then I think you said it shouldn't be thought of as content. It should be a unique expression of your soul, something like to sort of maybe summarize some points. Ketan Mehta ji, are there any things that you are going to do in the future? I mean, this is an endless conversation. I think we have given a food for thought to corporates, to filmmakers, to entrepreneurs, to likely entrepreneurs from the movie world. Are there any future plans or present ventures you want to talk about today?
Oh yes, I'm after 5-6 years now, sudden passion on making a film is back again. So I'm seriously just wrote 2 scripts. Uh, One is a science fiction film, contemporary science fiction film, fascinating, that I want to do. And other is a historical epic that I'm really excited about. So yes, I mean, I intend to dive back into filmmaking and
Filmmaking.
cinema.
And continue to leave your footprints in the sands of time. By
That
as a
that
coincidence,
that
as a
that time
coincidence,
decides.
as a,
I need to really
uh,
enjoy the experience of making it.
and while you have enjoyed over the decades, you have left your footprints in the sands of time, which is a very rare possibility. Out of hundreds of filmmakers make films every year now, but I'm very sure that it's only be 5 or 10 filmmakers who will be remembered afterwards. So Ketan Mehta ji belongs to that unique category uh, that's remembered.
So nice of you
So
to say that, and let time tell.
tell, and time has told, and I think that we can't continue endlessly. So we call it bye bye. See you and
Thank
see
you
you in
very
your.
much. Thanks a lot, and keep doing this. Uh, Ideas have to come alive. The world is ruled by ideas, and you are a good communicator. So please
Thank,
do it.
thanks a lot for your mentoring mentoring encouragement.
Thank you.